I'm back. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about sleep. This is our first pillar that we're going to go through. So, sleep. We're going to talk about why it's so important, what our phases are, what happens when we sleep, what happens when we don't get enough sleep, and how much sleep is enough. So, the first thing, why sleep so important? When we sleep, our body releases hormones that stimulate muscle repair and growth. Now, this time also allows our brain time to rest and recover. So, this sleep is really important for both physical and mental recovery. We talked briefly about those when we talked about recovery and fatigue, but this is a really key one for both of those. Now, what are our phases of sleep? I'm sure most of us, if not all of us, have heard about our different phases of sleep. So, when we sleep, we enter 4 different phases, each of which has different important functions. So there are 4 different stages here. 1, 2, and 3 are non-REM sleep, and our stage 4 is our REM sleep. REM just means our rapid eye movement, so our eyes move really rapidly when we're sleeping. So stage 1, this is our lightest sleep. Our body begins to relax and our brain activity slows down. Now stage 2, our body continues to relax and our eye movement slows down. Our body temperature, our breathing rate, our heart rate all decline. So we really start to recover here. And our stage 3, this is our non-REM sleep. This is our deepest sleep, when our body goes into healing and repair mode and our breathing is at its slowest. So this is the key for our physical recovery. Stage 4, this is our REM sleep. This is when our brain is extremely active, and this is when we process memories and learning and motor skills, and our body goes into a paralysis state. So we need all 4 of these stages, and it acts in a cycle. You might go from stage 3 to stage 4 and back into stage 3 again, but a whole cycle generally lasts about 90 to 110 minutes. This is why getting enough sleep is so key, because each of these stages has really important things that you need to be able to recover properly. If you don't get enough sleep, you don't get that physical processing, you don't get that mental recovery, you don't get any of those things or enough of them if you're not getting enough sleep. So, what happens when we don't get enough? Yeah, we've covered that a little bit just now, but let's go into some real solid things that we know happen when we don't get enough sleep. We're going to break it down into acute and chronic. So, acute is just if you have 1 or 2 bad nights sleep. Now, if you have a good store of sleep or a sleep bank, you should be just fine if you have 1 or 2 bad nights sleep. This means that if you've been consistently getting enough sleep, then you should be fine. Your performance will be strong still. You'll still be able to do what you need to do during the day. But if you find you feel drained and tired after getting a bad night's sleep, you might want to have a nap. But you might be also feeling off because of a number of other variables like stress or inadequate rest time or poor nutrition or a host of other things that can be going on. The key here is consistency. So these acute things, if you acutely get a bad night's sleep, you're going to be fine as long as you have enough sleep stored up. So if you've been getting enough sleep for the past month and you have 1 bad night's sleep, you're going to be fine. This is really key for you as athletes because I know that when I was competing, the night before a big event, I would have a terrible night's sleep and I would be so stressed that day because I felt like I'd slept poorly the night before and I wouldn't be able to perform that day because of that. But if you've got enough sleep stored up, you should be fine that day. Now, our chronic things are a little bit more complicated and really important. So you see this big list, and it's a big, scary list, and it should be a little bit. This is a scary thing to know that all these things can decline when we don't get enough sleep. But as long as we're consistently getting enough, we're okay. So, what is enough? This is where it gets a little complicated. Our general guidelines recommend healthy adults get a minimum of 7 to 9 hours, but this really depends on you. It's been suggested that athletes, as well as females, may require an increased amount of sleep, but we don't have a conclusive answer to this. You might need more sleep, you might not. Now, the key takeaway is to find out what works for you and your body. You want to get a minimum of 7 hours plus of sleep, but you might find that this isn't enough for you. So do what works. You want to sleep the amount that makes you feel the best, both mentally and physically. And what can we do? It's great to say we need more sleep, but how do we do it? We want to avoid stimulants like caffeine. We want to avoid alcohol and heavy meals too close to sleep. We want to remove noise and light from the room while we're sleeping. Take naps and don't spend too much time in your bed while you're sleeping. So that just means that you don't want to train your body that it can do other stuff when you're in bed. You want to just know that when I get in bed, it's time to sleep. You should have a cool room, so between 17 and 22 degrees Celsius. You want to have a relaxing bedtime routine and stick with it. And you want to try and go to bed and wake up at the same time every day. Can we measure sleep? Wearables can tell us how long, but not really much more. The next thing we're going to go through is nutrition for recovery. That's going to be done by Pamela. She's going to take over from here, and I hope you guys enjoy it.